Here we go then guys, time for another episode of the player career here with Jude Bellingham, and we're into the 2021 season and we've landed at Dortmund. But before we kick things off, I just wanted to show you a few things. First up, as I think I missed it during the last episode, I'm once again using Paul V2K4's gameplay mod, just to increase the difficulty that little bit more. Secondly, in the first episode I was using a beta version of BR7's face mod. He's since updated it, and from here on in we'll be using the new version. Then in terms of extra mods, for this episode we have Rizkar's 2021 kit mod, so we're rocking the brand new kit here at Dortmund. We also have Adios Zed's boot pack so that we can have the blue coppers that Jude wears, and the new Superflies that Jaden has. We have RBS's Haaland face, Witch and Woo's Sancho face and tattoo mod. And then lastly, you might notice there's some slight tweaks here and there that I've made too. Next up, let's take a look at our stats before we get into our second season, alongside of which you'll see the stats that Jude currently has here in the FIFA 21 beta. Now of course, we'll be ahead in some of those stats and behind in others, but I thought it'd be interesting to see the comparison side by side. Up first, a 9 minimum average rating. Are you having a laugh? I mean, aside from that, we might be able to do the rest, but come on, a 9 average rating. So, the first match of the season is the Super Cup against Bayern Munich, and we've been picked, but it's bad news. Another manager has decided we must be moulded into something completely different. We're playing in the right midfield position in a 3-4-2-1, but to be fair, we do have some pretty extreme competition for the central midfield role. So was it really a surprise? Well, anyway, straight out of the blocks, I know what my issue is going to be here. Positioning. As obviously, I want to help force the play forward, but in doing so, I need to roam more, and this is clearly going to hamper our match rating. But I can't just sit back and hope the team builds chances. I mean, that would be incredibly boring for both me and you. I don't have the pace here against the defender, so I have to look for other options. No sooner have I played that pass, I'm warned about my position. So I come screaming across the field, and I'm even involved in the play once more, but still my rating tumbles. I think this is going to make me extremely angry. I mean, again, as the play continues to unfold, I'm docked on my average rating once more. Okay, and so for the next corner, I'm put up top in case the ball drops out. Now, what am I supposed to do? Attack the ball or drop back? Ugh. Now I'm really fucking angry. Right, let's try and get involved. I'm on the move here, asking for the ball. A nice 1-2 with Sancho, and my work is done as Jaden puts it on a plate for Martial. But he blazes it over the bar. Here we go, moving inside, taking up that cam roll. I'll have the ball, Mertens. Levels. Free kick in a dangerous position now, just before half time. 24 yards out, Roos stood over it. Oh, top bins. And into the break we go, 1-0 up. Just a few minutes into the second half and that's my man, and he's in. We get back into shape okay, but a couple of lucky bounces later and it's 1-1. Marcos Acuna on the score sheet. Here we go again. I've nearly got on the end of something in the box, but I'm out of position again. Okay, time for a switcheroo. The gaffer has decided to give me Jaden's right wing position. Oh joy, there's another role I'm not used to. I wonder how out of position I can get right here. Acuna with pinpoint accuracy here to Lewandowski, and what a header from the pole. I mean, if you're going to lose a game, be thankful it's to a piece of classy play like that. And that was it. We couldn't craft anything else. Our first game and our first loss. First match of the season proper was a home game against Hamburg, and you can guess where I'm playing again. Just some nice work out from the back here that comes from me that I thought you'd like to see, even if there's not really a result at the end of it. Into the second half, and we've been trying to impress some attacking verve into the game, but when I call Emre Can for this ball out wide, as I'm in a decent position, I expect a lofted pass, and instead I get that. Now, I'm well out of position, but as they break away down the opposite flank, I should hopefully be able to get back into shape. Well, no need. Jatta has done it on his own. But the body wasn't even cold when we mount our first attack in response, as I drag some defenders around in Jaden's wake and he smashes it home to make it 1-1. What a great finish. One last gasp effort here as I try to instill some urgency, but it doesn't culminate in the finish I'd like. We finish 1-1. Next up, it was a boring 0-0 against Wolfsburg that I did play, but won't show you any highlights of. Unless you want to see me out of position? A lot? Oh, go on then. Following that, we had to suffer a spell out of the starting 11, whilst the team went on to grab a 3-0 victory against Mainz, a home win against Leverkusen 3-2, before they moved into the Champions League games with a win against Young Boys. This was followed up with an away win at Leipzig and a 3-1 victory against Schalke. Having sat on the sidelines for a few games, I was now chomping at the bit to get on, and so the gaffer gave us the green light to get our first Champions League outing as we faced off against Lazio. We got things off to a rapid start, and although I'd love to claim some credit, it was the persistence of Marco Reus that paid off, and he smashed the ball home with less than 4 minutes on the clock to make it 1-0. That's not to say we didn't try and get involved. This pass here allowed Martial to put Reus in for another opportunity that ended up striking the woodwork. I even kept my shape pretty well in this one and managed to not give away a foul in the box here. I'll just leave this here too, totally unnecessary, but magnificent all the same. Towards the end of the game, we have a nice 1-2 here with Emre Can before Martial and Reus combine, and he hits the woodwork again. Next up, we have a trip to Hertha Berlin, and I want to get involved early on, even if that means committing the cardinal sin of being out of position. Finally, we work the ball to Insigne, so he can get a shot away. FYI, we signed Insigne just before the last transfer window closed too, so now my chances of playing in a central midfield role are even worse. Into the second half, and we've won a free kick in a dangerous position when you've got Marco in your team. I do make a cheeky call for the ball, but he strikes it anyway, and the keeper ain't stopping that. Another 1-0 victory. We did chalk up a good long range effort before the game was over though, and the keeper was particularly pleased with himself about his save. Match day 8 already, and it's time for Freiburg to visit as we get down to business early on. A bursting run forward, and I'm calling for the ball as the defenders has given us far too much room. I'm tempted to light it up and smash one myself, but as the angle narrows I decided to play in Jaden so he can get himself an easy finish. 1-0. That was a great breakaway goal, and I love scoring in free-flowing football like that. Next up, it's more Champions League action, this time with a trip to the bridge as we face off against Chelsea. Nearly half an hour in and we break down a Chelsea attack and get a counter started on our own. I get myself involved in the midfield and lurk on the edge of the box in case the ball drops out. I'm not needed though, as Marco's shot rebounds to Sancho, who bags with ease. 1-0. We had a decent back and forth, but in the second half, De Vrij bodies Kante on the edge of the box. At only 20 yards out, I figured I'd best get on the post, as we all know it's going to be a top bins finish as the keeper won't get across. Guess what though? It decides to move me behind the line, and so even though I get my head on it, it's still a goal for Willian. Augsburg away up next, and just after the half-time break we mount an attack, with the other Hazard thumping a shot straight at the keeper, that deflects straight into the path of Martial, who grabs a goal. Oh, for fuck's sake, now I'm getting pinged for not being far enough forward. Go on then, let's go. I'll have that. Go on then, Jaden. I'll have it back. Come on. Come on! Get in. It's taken a while, but we have our first goal in the Bundesliga. Our 2-0 lead didn't last long though, as straight from the kickoff, Augsburg came through to grab themselves a goal, but it wouldn't be enough and we saw the game out. Back into the Pokal next as we face off against Freiburg in a second round clash. I really wanted to get involved in this one, coming deep to collect the ball from the goal kick and being part of the move throughout, before getting into the centre of the park. We do get lucky in the middle of the move as Insigne makes a loose pass, but Martial gathers up the ball again and I continue to drive inside. A lovely pass by Anthony, and I now have one thing on my mind: another goal for the collection. Into the second half we go. From a deeper and wider position here, I'm still trying to help pull the strings. A few passes go back and forth before we open up some space for Lorenzo, who shuffles it on quickly to Martial and won't miss from there. It's another home fixture up next as we welcome Union Berlin. A deep ball into my territory early on, and I'm still unsure how this is a penalty. Oh, and has anybody seen my pony? What the f*** is going on there, EA? Anyway, the referee, gave it, and they stuck it away to their credit, and now we have a game on our hands. Some nice play by the rest of the team here as we all desperately look to fashion some space. I'll have it, Witzel. Past that defender, and off the post. But yes, Sancho is there to mop it up. 10 minutes later and I have the ball out wide. I cut back, as we all know, crossing is a lottery. But okay, I'll buy a ticket, and that's not a bad cross, but my rating takes a dent, as EA clearly doesn't think so. Go on then, I'll have that back Lorenzo, quick ball around the corner into Sancho, and there's some quick feet from him too, and a wonderful finish to wrap this game up at 2-1. Another Champions League game against Chelsea, but I wasn't selected. We lost 2-1. The big challenge up next as we head to Bayern Munich. There's a few chances in the opening phase of the game, but nothing to trouble you with a replay of. Until this. We spring forward on a counter-attack. I'm nearly dispossessed by Goretzka, but we recover nicely to find a lovely through ball to Roos, who smashes it home. Into the second half, and for once I've been doing a half decent job of staying in position, and my rating hasn't been plummeting accordingly. But as Bayern work their way forward, here we see that we need to get back to help cover against that threat posed by Lewandowski. Unfortunately, I just can't quite get goal side of him to prevent him following in the rebound off of Berkey. 1-1. Nice play from Insigne into Roos's feet here, and Bartra just hacks him down on the edge of the box. He gets a yellow card for his troubles, and we all know how dangerous Marco is from there. Once again, I try and use some distractionary tactics, but this time the effort strikes the woodwork. And that was it really. As the clock ticked towards full time, we did have one last chance, but no one really wanted to chuck it in the box, even though I called for it several times. The international break followed with a 0-0 draw against Frankfurt the game afterwards. Then it was back into the 11 for the next Champions League game against Young Boys. Yeah, you can make your own jokes there. The first half was a total bust, but we get things moving pretty early in the second half as we glide down the right hand side, feed the ball off to Jayden and continue our run. It's a nice touch and that angle's never on for the shot, so I'll square it to Marco for an easy tap in, 1-0. We're firing on all cylinders now, and a quick pass down the channel into Jayden and he squares it into Haaland for another easy finish. A great move, lads. And they don't even need me for the next one as Insignia confirms our 3 points and we move on. We sit out the next game against Stuttgart, which finishes 3-0, and then it's on to more cup action, only this time it's the third round of the Pokal as we take on Mainz. It's another lacklustre first half performance, so we get things rolling in the second half. So as we get things rolling in the second half, I'm eager to get an early Citron goal. It must have been the weather, but for some reason we never really got going in this game at all, and with just a few minutes on the clock, I'm now throwing caution to the wind and trying to force something, even playing as a temporary striker. But with the ball thumped clear, there must be time for one more go. Come on, lads! Taking charge in the midfield, I spray the ball into Delaney and get on my bike. An exquisitely weighted pass from Jayden puts me in the clear and I slot it past the keeper in injury time. 1-0, what an important goal that is. Gladbach up next in another home fixture, and it's another one that we have to wait a while to hot up, with us actually getting the only goal of the game after Jayden puts it on a plate for us and we smash it top bins at the near post. A trip to the Stadio Olimpico follows with a victory here almost certainly sending us through to the next round of the Champions League. And this one was always going to be a lively encounter, as we get things popping off early, drawing the save from Strakosha. And as we know, with my job during corners just to lurk around on the edge of the box, there's always the chance if the ball drops just right that I can create a counter-attack. I get lucky here, and whilst we still haven't got the kind of pace you'd expect a youngster like Jude to have, let me know in the comment section down below whether you think I should fix that, by the way. We do get away from the defender and I get a good shot away. As the play turns back in our favour, I'm involved in the deep line build-up play too, before Thorgan delivers from range. But Lazio aren't going to just roll over here, and they're straight at us from the kick-off. A nice bit of play through the middle, and Correa has levelled things up already. A cynical challenge by Hummels on the edge of the box gives Lazio a chance just before the half-time break. So I stumble back towards the goal line to try and help out, and once again I'm dragged over the line. And the ball glides past both me and the goalkeeper. Really? Really, EA? The gaffer must have given us an absolute rollicking during the half-time break, as I stride onto a ball here from Jayden and just let fly. What a goal! As we close in on the last few minutes of the game, we've had a handful of chances but still haven't pulled clear. Breaking the play up here, I'll lead the charge forward. Driving the ball into the midfield. I know I'm going to get dinged for positioning if the play breaks down, but we have to try and force the issue. Hazard puts it on a plate for us, coming through into injury time, and as the ball drops to me here, my eyes light up. Could it be on the volley? No, not this time. It's Werder Bremen up next, a familiar team if you watch Total FIFA Career Mode. If not, you should. Link up in the eye right now. Anyway, it's a total blunder by me as I go diving into a challenge on the edge of the box, and I'm lucky to escape with just a yellow. The team are punished by my mistake though, as the subsequent free kick is clipped over the wall into the top corner. It took us a while to get going in this game too, but into the last 10 minutes and a loose pass into our path allows us to set Marco free before asking for it back in the middle. Then, what a pass this is. Totally unpicked their defensive line and Chiesa finishes it in style. But we were not done there. We pressed them from the kick-off and again we gifted the ball. And once again we find the right pass to Chiesa, who tucks it away for the second and the game winner. What a turnaround. And one that we were totally instrumental in. A dead game against Cologne up next, another 0-0 that I want to subject you to. The lads then defeated Werder Bremen in the reverse fixture of 3-0 and Hoffenheim 1-0 before we were due to face off against them again, only this time we're in the Pokal. The first 30 minutes were a really tough watch, but as always we're deadly on the counter. We draw a foul here in the middle of the pack but manage to get off a great pass to find Jadon, and he goes past the defender like he's standing still. Pick that out the top corner, mate. Into the second half, and you should know by now I've given up on keeping my shape most of the time and I just drift in field so that we can get into the action. Screw the rating drop. A couple of nice passes here and we've opened up a chance for Martial, but he can't beat the keeper. It finishes 1-0, but that's all we need to make it through to the next round. Next up, it's Stuttgart in the league and we get things rolling early doors with this decent cross into the box. And for the life of me, I don't know why the keeper does it, but he tips it straight into the path of Marco, who finishes with ease. Everything seemed to be going so well until the defender decided to stick a leg out in the box. But surprisingly, Silas missed the penalty wide of the target. Into the second half, and just watch this. Not only did I keep that in, the pass to Sancho was mwah. But that's not the best bit. We only go and score from it too. An easy tap in from Haaland as Sancho squares it to him. And with that, it's another 2-0 win, a great result as we head into the knockout stages of the Champions League. But it's only bloody Barcelona, isn't it? Problem is, I was expecting something amazing. And the game was deader than a dead thing that was already dead, and the defibrillator paddles won't even work. 0-0. Let's hope the second leg is better. Now, after the disappointment of the Barca game, I thought I'd cheer myself up, as surely Schalke can't be an issue. Wrong. Worst part is they'd snuck down my side of the pitch before Boadu smashed this one into the top corner to make it 1-0. My misery is compounded even further when I thought we'd break away here as the ball comes out of the back door. But I give away possession, and the shot, unleashed by Boadu from the edge of the box, falls kindly. But boy oh boy, did he smash that home. 2-0 down, and it isn't even half time. And just to make matters worse, just after the break, at the very point where you're thinking, yeah, we can turn this around, oink, 3-0, game over. I think it's time to get out of here, as Hummels tries to comfort us. So, back to Barcelona, and well, yeah, the first game was boring, but in an attempt to spice things up, I might have done more harm. Into extra time we go then, and a pass into the box that finds Julian Brandt. Oh, a very cheeky fake shot followed by a very deliberate one that puts us 1-0 up, and suddenly my rating ain't half bad. Bang bang, time to hit them hard and quick. That bounce on the ball took the pace out of it, so I decide to put in Jadon instead, and just like that it's 2-0 and we're going through to the next round. Next up was Bayern in the league, which the boys lost 1-0. Then the first leg of the Champions League was against Bayern 2, which I wasn't involved in, and the boys turned in a 1-1 draw. Freiburg was also played without me, but that was a 4-1 victory. And so we move into the second leg of the Champions League quarter-final against Bayern Munich. And as far as I'm concerned, we have an advantage going into this one as we're the away team. And whilst Bayern have an away goal, I feel we'll get a few more. I do well here, cut inside and find Jadon, who's brought down and a penalty is given. Martial steps up and duly dispatches it. there's that first away goal for us. Into the second half, we break clear down the right and interchange with Sancho, and he squares it to Lorenzo to bag our second. But I guess Bayern haven't given up though, and just 15 minutes later, Gnabry grabs the ball by the horns, drives through the middle and smashes one home. 2-3. Okay, let's put the final nail in this coffin. Some great play through the middle of the field, and Martial puts me through for me to grab the winner, and in some style. You absolutely love to see it. Hertha were up next, which was a 1-1 draw that I sat out from, and it's time to face off against Bayern for the fourth, yeah, you count it, fourth time in a month. Really not a classic again, but I do manage to win us a free kick early on, and Marco obviously swings it over the top of the wall into the top corner, and I'm going to say I had a hand in it again with my distractionary tactics. It's a 2-0 victory against Wolfsburg in the league next, before the lads take a 1-0 victory in the first leg of the Champions League semi-final against Real Madrid. They follow that up with a 4-0 win over Hamburg before we head to the Bernabeu. And they left it very late, but Real did get the goal they needed with just 5 minutes left on the clock. Kroos with a ball into Odegaard, who set Jovic free, and that would be enough to send them into extra time. And what is it with dead games? A thoroughly dismal 30 minutes followed, and it was pistols at dawn to decide who'd head to the final. And after both teams had converted their first penalties, it was Jovic who'd scored to get them to this point that steps up and takes an absolutely terrible spot kick. Another missed penalty followed for Real, and it was down to Axel to put us through. It's happening, lads. We're going to the final. So, we're down to just 4 games left in the season. 2 in the league, which we're going to skip as we've already lost out to Bayern in the Bundesliga. And then 2 finals. RB Leipzig in the Pokal and Liverpool in the Champions League. First up, this is what we're playing for. And I reckon we might have a work cut out for us if you take a look at what the fizzy drinks team have assembled. The f***ing Avengers would be proud of that. I mean, they've got Kimpembe, Alaba, Olmo, Pogba, Joseph Martinez, Bobby Firmino, and then look at the bench. Semedo, Isco, Marcelo. Jeez. And it's the Avengers who settle themselves down first. This early sighter from Pogba with just a few minutes on the clock. But the momentum starts to swing in our favour, and it's a great piece of play from the other Hazard and Martial, who bags, and we're 1-0 to the good. Me and Sancho link up down the right here, and I skip past the left back, drive into the box and drag it back for Marco, who really should have done much better. Moving into the second half, and the game's been a whole heap of midfield possession. Pogba here though, trying to craft something, sends me to the shops before smashing it over the bar. Well, I've gone walkabout again, and Bobby Firmino draws the save from Bernd Leno. They're not done yet though, as Isco forces the ball through and Leno saves us again as Augustin misses from point blank range. One last gasp, sugar water. What you got? Nothing. The answer is nothing. Well, we might have done it ugly, and in fairness, I didn't have a great game, but we have our first trophy in the cabinet. And so, to Old Trafford we go, to face off against Liverpool in the Champions League final. Can we add this one to our cabinet at the first attempt too? I mean, we already know they don't have Bobby Firmino, but it appears they've kept most of the rest of the band together. And they've added Werner as firepower for good measure, although I'm not sure about Lovren at right back Klopp. Having been gifted the ball, Sancho sets Marco away and he appears to have pulled clear, but Virgil is having absolutely none of that and takes him down. but he took him down in a great position because surely that's too far out even for Marco. He strikes it anyway, and Alisson has to tip it over. Liverpool trying to break on us here, but they lose possession and a brilliant pass puts the Reds out of the game immediately. Sancho with a nice turn, a great overlap from Martial, and he finds Lorenzo on the swivel, who squirrels it away into the bottom corner. You love to see it 1-0 up in the Champions League final. A little while later, Fabinho shuffles the ball out to Salah, who feeds it back to Lovren. Fabinho is involved again and he's managed to turn it around the corner to Salah, who finds some space. He pings it left-footed and the keeper is beaten all ends up, but the woodwork comes to our rescue. You can actually feel the momentum is swinging at this point and Liverpool are in the ascendancy before Timo clouts another one against the frame of the goal. We are living dangerously now. Into time added on before the half-time break and Liverpool are at it again. Salah finds Fabinho and he tries to feed it into Salah, but the pass just doesn't have the right weight on it and we're mopping our brow once again. The one-way traffic continues as we open up into the second half with Werner missing a chance on the swivel. Now, they've managed to get a free kick from 22 yards out. Ooh. And it's a crafty one from Liverpool as they shuffle the ball across to Werner, but Leno had it figured out and pushes it wide. It might have been Liverpool for a good while now, but to win, you must score. Plenty of wide open turf in front of him to chase. He drives towards goal, Lorenzo keeping pace to his left, and that's exactly where he sends it. The little man getting on the end of it and miraculously making it 2-0 to Dortmund against the run of play. Liverpool are nothing if not tenacious though, and don't give it up. Werner and Salah combine, and you think the Egyptian must surely score one for Liverpool. The game had kind of passed us by at this point. I'd been relatively quiet, trying to keep my shape more than anything else, but at 2-0 up I figured I could impress myself on the game. Surely. Fuck! So close, lads. Thought I was scoring the final goal of the Champions League final there. But we are Champions League winners at our first attempts. I mean, most of us were playing out of position this year. Not just me. Marco was playing as a striker for most of the season, whilst we got Martial and Haaland playing left midfield. I mean, what the f*** is that, EA? But nevertheless, we've done it. Champions League winners. So, there we go, boys. 17 years old and a Champions League winner. What do you reckon? We done with Dortmund? Or do we have unfinished Bundesliga business? Let me know in the comments section what you think we should do next. Stick around and conquer the German League? Or move on? As always, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. And if you have, don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel if you're new. But thanks for watching. Stay safe. I'm out of here.